Tap in. Come on, y'all tap in. YouTube, Facebook. You guys tap in. Come on. We got stuff to discuss this week. Let's go. Let's get it. Y'all tap in. Go, y'all. Y'all tap in. Come on, I'm waiting for y'all. You got less than a minute to get in here. We got stuff to discuss. Let's go. Let's go, Facebook. Let's go, YouTube. Got less than 20 seconds. Get in here. All right. How's it going, everybody? How's it going today? On this Monday, we're back Monday nights at 8 o'clock. You see us now, you see us live. Go ahead and be part of the discussion. All right, let me see your chats. Go ahead and talk to us today. We got some stuff to discuss, all right? This week, what do we have? We had Kentucky Wildcats get embarrassed in football. Could be a turning point for the Stoops errors. We'll discuss it. We're looking at Kentucky basketball looking great, but we're young. Let's talk about that Reed Shepherd hype. Who should be the starting lineup? All right, then let's go over here to Louisville football. Louisville, I guess the ACC takeover is happening now, right? I see you guys getting ready to hit the ACC Championship game against Florida State and get a little bit of lucky as well because you guys have a quarterback that's injured for Florida State. All right, but that's all right. That's football. And let's talk about that basketball team. Is Coach KP, does he have you guys finally on the right track? It looks like that you guys have improved. We're going to discuss it all right here, right now on Cats versus Cards, the only place you're going to get this talk from. All right. let me get my stuff together real quick. I go by the name of Willie Dubs on Twitter. But here, you can call me Will. All these other people's going to call me Lathan. Don't worry about that. That's not my name for real. All right. So here we go. Up on the top left, Richard, what's going on?
L1C4, baby.
L1C4.
Cards forever.
I didn't think he was going to say something for a second there. All right. What's up, Perry? Right below him. In the big face shot. And this man has. Can we boo him?
Can't make this up.
Can we boo him? Can we boo him? I'm just saying he's got auto tune on his voice. Ricky, if you hear me, help your brother. Help your dad out. All right. On the top right, we got Phil. What's going on, Phil? Oh, he's muted. Phil, you are muted. We can't hear you, bro. We can't hear you. Cast by 90.
UK fans for you.
Hear me now?
Yep, we can hear you now.
I said, what's up, everybody? It's Cast by 90. Cast by 90.
Cast by 90. And last but not least, the preacher, the pastor. What's up, Dietrich?
What's up? It's basketball season. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, this is one of the things that Kentucky fans do because we historically sucked, and so it used to be, hey, thank God for basketball season. It ain't been there for a while, but after this season, it's back. And Richard, I don't care if you're laughing at us because it's true. Hey, it is what it is, right?
It used to be Big Blue Madness. Football season was over at Big Blue Madness.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, we've gotten better, all right, but we've taken a dip. So,
Okay,
but let's
so
go
it's
ahead.
Another week past Big Blue Madness, but it's the same old story. Yep.
You know what? Let's go ahead and get into it. Guys, you see our new format at the bottom, the Cats versus Cards scoreboard. All right, so each subject that we talk about, we're gonna get 7 minutes total to discuss the full subject. All right, each person, they're gonna have a minute to discuss. Once I ask them a question, they're gonna have a minute to discuss, and then we're gonna hear if you hear the bell, they've gotten a point on the scoreboard. Do not crap on my point system. All right, it works. Shut up, Richard. Shut up, Richard. Shut up, Richard. All right, and along with that, if you get, that means your time is up or you failed. No, take that back. That means you failed in your point, whatever you was trying to make. That means that your time is up. All right, guys, that's how we play it. All right, at the end. I don't know what all that is. But at the end, whoever has the most points, whoever's made the most points, whoever has brought the most facts and made good points out of those facts, they'll get the last 2 minutes, say whatever they want to say. They can rag on the other team all they want. The opposing side can't say anything. And guys, y'all hear we got a singer in the midst. All right. So let's go ahead and put our 7 minutes on the clock. All right.
I think we spent.
There we go. Huh?
On the clock.
Nah.
Yeah, we done spent a minute trying to get the clock set.
Yeah, we have. So first things first, guys. First things first. This is up. We're gonna start with you, PJ, and we're gonna start with Kentucky football. Is this an end of an era for Mark Stoops, or does it smell like an end of an era? What do you think? What do you say?
Man,
What
really
say ye?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really do think that we are approaching possibly, it smells like the end to an era. To me, at least. I think like I said on the last show we did, you can appreciate where we've come from, but still desire more. That's okay. Like the goalpost, right, has moved. Like, okay, we've reached this point. We've come to this point to where we used to, as you mentioned prior to the show, Big Blue Madness. It's football season. I remember the times I went to the game as a kid. Saturday nights, I'd be in Commonwealth Stadium and we get blown out by 50 points. Big Blue Madness comes, we stop talking about football. But it's changed.
Definitely.
We're still talking about football. We're still both sports are around. And now we're at that point where 6 and 6 seasons are not acceptable to us, or at least to us, not considered good. To me, it's considered a failure. To go 6 and 6 is considered
All right.
a failure. So,
Went a little bit too long. What do you say? What do you say, Dietrich? Is it end of an era right now?
I think it can be if Stoops doesn't make some coaching changes. I think he's got to get some new blood. I think he thought Cohen was going to be a new blood type of infusion, but I don't think Cohen and Stoops coach with the same type of edge. So I think Cohen is taking his cues from Stoops right now and playing good soldier and not trying to overstep his bounds. But I'd like to see a gradual changeover over the next 4 to 5 years from Stoops to Cohen and start a new era of football. Because
with Cohen?
Stoops, with Cohen. Because Cohen has the offensive mindset. I just think the pieces that we got, the way we evaluated them was wrong. Our expectations were wrong. Our coaches were overproud and sticking their chest out and a little overconfident at the beginning of the season. Oh, time's up. Yep.
Hey, and it looks like, I know, Perry, you have a bunch to say. I know, because you like to predict the demise of Kentucky football, Kentucky sports in general. Every single coach you got a comparison for and everything. So let's go ahead and hear it. What is it?
Taxes and death. Taxes and death in UK football. All destined to come about. The failure of UK football. Anyways, so I made this point last week, and I'll just keep it real brief. A lot of people thought Cohen was going to save him, and I said he's not, and he didn't. I know he does what he does, and he's good at what he does, but he is the one who evaluated the quarterback position. So that's on him for evaluating it. He's the one where you have all the players that are starting to complain about his offense. That's a problem. So to say he's the ultimate answer is about like saying, well, Stoops is the guy that's telling them to not run the ball as much, or Stoops is the guy that's telling them to not bring in a backup for the current quarterback, our dear Mr. Devin Leary. No, the offensive coordinator is the one who runs the offense, and the blunders you see are his, not on Stoops with your offense.
All right. Richard, let me hear your take on it, because you got that game face on, man. What's that about?
Well, once again, I'm coming from the fan perspective. I don't have no inside clubhouse information.
Man, you get a point just for that right there. You basically tell us, I don't know what I'm talking about before I talk. Go ahead.
I'm coming from the fan perspective, and your question was, do you think this is an end of an era with Stoops? And personally, I think it is, but it's not because of this season. Mostly, I think it's because your little brother, as y'all call us, up the road is seeing greater success, and you're hearing all these rumblings from other fans within the state, and it's in your ear now. You see, because y'all had terrible seasons in the past before under Stoops. Y'all had 2-win seasons. Y'all gone 5 and 8 or 5 and 7 or whatever. Y'all done that before. You could take the point away, but it's true. Y'all had those seasons, and you've only had 2 10-win seasons in his 10 years of being here. And that was a couple years ago, and y'all not going in that direction. Y'all going down. But I think what's making it worse is the fact that Louisville is seeing success, greater success, and you all are not able to hold that. Hey, we got all this. We got little brother going here doing this and this and that. And now, are we spending our money wisely? Because why come we can't see some success like Louisville, or why come we can't be better at what we're doing in the SEC? I think that's what's really making it worse than, coupled with the fact that Louisville's doing good.
Sorry.
Hey, I'm going to tell you this.
It's not the measuring stick for Kentucky football, period.
I believe it is. I believe it is. I believe it is.
Okay.
Right now, if you all lose to us this weekend, you really going to hear the chatter about, hey, Stoops has got to go, or we got to make a change.
So I got a question for you. So what do you think makes Kentucky better? What do they have to do going forward, though, Rich?
Okay, first off, y'all can't be losing to South Carolina, Missouri. Y'all tried to step over Florida, and y'all made a progress up in that direction. But then you got mollywopped by Tennessee
Well,
at home. I understand if it was Tennessee on the road, but you get mollywopped by the best teams in your conference. You
hold
can
on, let
lose
me.
to them, but when they start putting, well, you asked me to.
No, you make a good point. You make a good point. So I gotta give that to you. But let me clarify what I'm asking. Not who do we have to beat internally. What do you think is wrong? What does Stoops have to correct? I know Dietrich started to step on that next topic right there, but that's where we're going at right here.
Well, Perry hit it in complacency, but how you fix that? Number one is, like I said, you start making improvements in your gameplay. I mean, you're not going to beat Alabama and Alabama. We understand that. We understand that. Nobody can beat Alabama and be able to do it consistently. But how you play against these teams is what the improvement that UK fans should be looking for. You shouldn't be taking 50 and 60-point beatdowns at home. You see what I'm saying? Especially in this 10-year rebuild with Stoops, because it really doesn't look like I've done anything if y'all still taking those big-time losses. So I'm saying,
I agree with that.
To lose to South Carolina.
I agree with that. PJ, what's on your mind about that?
No, I was still stuck on us Louisville being the measure stick. I think it's totally wrong. But anyways, I do agree though that the philosophy has to change, if anything, right? I feel like I mentioned before is that that's a point deduction, right?
It has to be, man. It has to be, man.
I was saying, I can't even get my point out, right?
Go ahead.
I think the philosophy has to change. If Stoops wants to move on, there's things he has to change as far as in the structure of how they're leading, because as we mentioned, how undisciplined they've been. To me, I think it's been exposed mostly against teams with great skill players or very, very good athletes. You cannot play zone the entire game unless you have some premier rushers. We got Deion Walker, who we know is excellent, right? But besides that, who else is providing that greater pressure to be able to play zone consistently? In every single one of these games we're talking about, we've seen us get beat on zone in that zone to death.
But you got to admit though, we've gotten beat against South Carolina on man too. So what do?
That's what I'm saying. Philosophy. You got to change how you're recruiting too, right? It can't just be about like
exactly.
If I got us a 6'4", remember he went on that whole spin like let me go get the 6'3", 6'4" corner.
Go ahead, Perry. What do we have to do to get better to get back to that step that we were once at?
I would say a lot of what PJ was saying was true. You got to change up your philosophy in some aspects, but also you just have to get away from. You have to get your identity back, and you have to do whatever it takes to win now. You've been winning with running. You've been winning with all of this direction towards lining them up and knocking people off the ball. That was Stoops' identity when he came into the SEC. That was his identity when he was at Florida State as well. As a defensive, that's what they tried to do. He was the complementary defense for that type of running and passing attack at Florida State. So you just got to get back to that and establish yourself that. And he tried too soon to I don't know if he was trying to cater to the boosters or whoever who wanted a good quarterback. I don't know if he's trying to get a Heisman. I don't know, but saying, well, we're going after quarterbacks and we're going to change our philosophy a little bit because we want to win in the SEC. You were winning 10 games with a strong running game. These no-name running backs that ended up in the NFL, the offensive line and a lot of them ended up in the NFL. That's how you were winning. That's how you were beating teams. I remember the games that Louisville played, and we couldn't stop you, and we knew you were going to run 300 yards against us. It was Satterfield, man. Let's not get crazy.
Go ahead, D.
Yeah, I was going to say the number one thing he's got to do is completely rebuild the big blue wall. We don't have the big blue wall right now at all. We don't even have the little blue fence in some cases. But I think Perry deserves a point deduction for that Heisman comment because Ray Davis was in the Heisman conversation in the first few games of the season because he was racking up so many points. But because we could not continue that production via not giving him space with the line, he was totally left out of the conversation after probably, I think, the 6th game. So I think that needs to be the big blue wall. Everything begins and ends with the big blue wall. Our defense, we are fatigued, just like in the South Carolina game. I don't mean physically fatigued. I mean mentally fatigued in the game. We lost the South Carolina game because the man just didn't cover the guy. What Corey say? but we
Minister Corey Bruce.
we lost the South Carolina game because of a blown coverage, and that's a mental lapse. And mental lapse happen when you have fatigue.
CJ Key said he's a South Carolina fan. He said the game was close. It was a close call. Hey man, it was a close call just because Kentucky really didn't show up, bro.
Yo, it was a close call, but for a blown coverage. I think the guy who was supposed to cover the guy that was supposed to cover the guy, went on a delayed blitz.
All right, go ahead, Richard.
Y'all talk about rebuilding the blue wall, but was it really the blue wall that was really y'all's problem this year? I mean, a lot of people would say that it was the quarterback and the receivers and the receiving core not making the catches that y'all needed, and not the quarterback not getting the ball out there. That's got nothing to do. Well, I mean, maybe a little bit has to do with the offensive line, but really, what happened to your receiving core? I mean, for all the passes that were dropped, all the routes that weren't run right and stuff like that, what happened with that? I mean, I've never seen a team in the SEC with as many drops on simple stuff that we saw with UK this year, which got nothing to do with not that much to do with the blue wall more so than is it the offensive coordinator, or maybe because y'all got it, he's come in and that whole group had to gel again and learn a new offense.
I'm going to go ahead and chime in on this real quick. I'm going to tell you what's going on with Kentucky right now. What's going on with Kentucky, you have a head coach and a coaching staff that went into the season, went into this fall camp, very, very arrogant, thick-headed. When you heard about the coaching staff around town when Vince got married, and a lot of people met them, and I used to go to a barbershop where some of the coaches got their hair cut and players and everything. The one word that you kept hearing was arrogance. Even Matt Jones talked about it on his show. One thing you kept talking about is arrogance. And Matt Jones, he equated it to, Kentucky must have something this year. Mark Stoops knows he has something. Look how comfortable he is. He's sitting back in his chair now. He's putting his feet on the desk and everything. And I really think that what they did was they evaluated this team and they misevaluated all throughout the roster. Starting in fall camp, what Liam Cohen did wrong. Number one, when you implement an offense, all you coaches out there that's listening right now, you guys know when you implement an offense, you don't implement 50 plays. The dude came out of fall camp and he said, hey, they asked, how many plays do we have, or how much of the offense have you installed? He said, we got about 50 plays. That was before the first game. Nobody does that. You're looking at a good 12, 15 plays that you can execute at a high level. So when he said that, first thing I did, my eyes went really wide, like, wow. So these guys are doing it at this level in practice, that we actually got that much installed. What we found out is you installed a whole lot, but you didn't take time to go back and perfect what you were trying to do. Now, fans, they were upset about the style of play and what was going on and how the Kentucky offense slowed down, and it was the slowest in the SEC. One thing you got to understand, any coaching staff that's trying to play complementary football, they're not going to put their defense in a bad situation. So if their offense isn't executing at a high level, what do? They're going to pull back on the offense a little bit. Let's go ahead and run some of this clock down. You don't have to run plays in order to run the clock down. You can just run that play clock down before you snap the ball. That's exactly what we did to help our guys out. We weren't executing at a high level. Now, the other part about that is Liam Cohen came in he misevaluated his quarterback. He thought, okay, we can't do what we did with Will Levis. Will Levis, he can make plays with his feet. This guy, he can't make plays with his feet. So when we go to some RPOs, we can do RPOs, but they're really going to be either you make the decision to hand the ball off, or pass the ball. There's not going to be any running. There's not going to be any design runs with there. There's not going to be any zone reads with that. Zone reads, you read the end of the defensive end. If he goes after the running back, you keep it and you run. We couldn't do any of that. We did all of that with Will Levis. So you got to change your offense. All right. And so you got this quarterback for 1 year. I know I'm going over my time. You got this quarterback for 1 year. You got to figure out how to make it work. So what do? You go back and you look at what he did at NC State. At NC State, he didn't do a whole lot of play action where his back was to the defense, and he turned around all of a sudden find his target and throws the ball. So you can't incorporate a lot of that. And with his leg talent not being there, and with that not being there, that marks out a lot of your boots and your waggles. So you're limiting yourself already. And he told us in the beginning, he said, hey, this is a different type of quarterback. He's more cerebral. And so we're going to have to run this offense different. He said it's going to look different. So a lot of what he did was when you see that clock running down and UK running slow, and what they're doing is getting as much information as they can from that defense. And they're saying, okay, these are my pre-snap reads. I can eliminate this route. Okay, this route is going to be open. All right, so I can use just this half of the field. I can probably manipulate this person. All that is going through his mind, as well as you got a center right there that's looking and seeing how the defense is shifting and moving, and they're trying to call out blocks. There's been a few times where we've had we had snap infractions because our center is like, "Hey, he moved. Let's change this," just like that. But a lot of that stuff comes because you're running an NFL style offense. And when Liam Cohen was here the first time around, he really didn't do that. He didn't do all that. He meshed the NFL style with a lot of college style, and it worked great with Will Levis. But again, a lot of his playbook was there with Levis, with the boots and the waggles and the quarterback run. I'll never forget the first year when we played Louisville with Will Levis. That quarterback run, that basically saved the game for us. Louisville fans were like, we stopped everything else. We just couldn't stop the quarterback. It was actually by design because with Liam Cohen, it was basically pick your poison. All right, you're gonna cover those receivers. You're gonna double these guys like that. Okay, you're gonna leave the middle of the field open. We're gonna gash you right here. Oh, okay, you're gonna cover that. Okay, now we got these people open. So it wasn't just about Wandale. It wasn't just about the big blue wall. It wasn't just about C-Rod. So that quarterback, and Phil, you said this before, that the evaluation of the quarterback is wrong. And I agree with that. We got to have somebody that can make a play with their legs. They don't have to be, you said the 4-4 guy. They don't have to be that 4-4 guy, but they got to be able to make a play with their legs. I know. I'm sorry. I'm getting ready to stop. They got to be able to make a play with their legs and do something, because I'm going to tell you, this guy, Liam Cohen, looks like a guy that had, how a writer has writer block? He had a block on, what do I do with this personnel? My receivers can't handle option routes. And when we give them option routes, my receivers and quarterback is on the different pages. So we have to be more deliberate. I can't run through the middle because my guards in my center doesn't hold up. So I got to run on the edges. I can't do certain things. So what do I do? That's what's happened. All right. So I let that go.
He got it out, everybody.
That's what's happened with this offense. Defense,
Thank you for the
we got to reevaluate. Like you said, Phil, we have to reevaluate. We play a lot of zone because of the corners that we got. We can't trust them to play man. We tried to against South Carolina, and Drew Phillips,
offense not clicking, it puts more pressure on the defense.
Exactly.
It does.
But all right. Does anybody else have anything to say? Because I don't went on a monologue way over.
I want to say one thing about the arrogance. He had to get that off his chest.
He did, man. It's bothering him. He was up late last night.
But about the arrogance,
go ahead.
It wasn't just inside UK that had a little bit of arrogance. The sports writing community, like that SEC podcast, Paul Feinbaum, they were high on UK finishing well this year. Some were questioning, could this be the third 10-win season? And so, it wasn't just they were just delusional. People looked at these pieces, looked at these parts, looked at what we did with what we had last year and said, okay, looked at the schedule, said we're not winning Alabama, we're not winning Georgia, but everybody else, it's a possibility. And really, everybody else, we've only been within a score or two in any other loss. So it's not like they've been bad losses.
And I'm going to say this. And then we're going to have to move on to Louisville football. I'm going to say this. I think a lot of that came from, because when you have all those publications saying that, all the SEC publications saying that, saying great things about them, we're hearing this, we're seeing this in camp. The reason why that's happening is because your guys are executing at a high level in practice. But a lot of times when that happens in practice and it doesn't happen in games, one of the key things is, okay, he's showing to me that he can do this, but he's not comfortable in doing it. So it's still some development there that needs to happen, So, all right. So let's go. I'm going to buzz myself. And guys, I didn't give the Cat fans any points on that while I was talking. So let's go ahead and move to Louisville football. Let's say this. Let's say this. I guess this is the year for the ACC takeover. I know Sean Gurton. I know you listening. You've been talking about the ACC takeover for how many years? I think you finally going to get it. All right, and you got a person up there on the top left that's drinking that. He don't have it today, but he's been drinking that red Kool-Aid.
No.
Oh, he's got it. He's got it. All right. So this is what I want to talk about with Louisville football, man. So what was the most impressive point for you guys in that game against Miami, Perry? We understand that you guys won. Let's put this out there, because they're gonna say I slighted them. Louisville football beat Miami. They were at Miami, 38-31. It was a pretty tough game, pretty good game. It was a good game that Louisville impressed me in some ways. In other ways, I was just like, oh, okay. Now, I found out some stuff about them. But go ahead, Perry. What was the most impressive part about that win for you?
I'm sure you let us know how much you found out about us, and I want you to keep it just as long as what you found out about me.
Can't be jealous. I'm a Kentucky fan.
I want to hear a 20-minute dialogue, monologue, preach word, get your towel and your robe. Anyways, what impressed me the most was our ability to fight back. A lot of times teams would fall through. The previous coaches' teams would just die out. They wouldn't fight it back. I remember the game against Georgia Tech a few years ago, and we were up, and then the whole roof caved in. And next thing you know, we're down by like 20, against Georgia Tech. And so that's how the previous coach would handle it. I liked how the thing that impresses me about Brom is his offensive genius. How he said it in his post game interview. We want to make sure we have a lot of bullets to load into the gun, and so he went away from the wide receivers and focused a lot on the tight ends, which he hadn't done all year long. They talked about the tight ends as a total had 17 receptions on the year. And Joey Galloway probably had the only 2 touchdowns. And so here we are in a game.
Still can't believe he plays for you guys.
Yeah. They're on our wide receivers. Our running back, our main running back, the main guy is dinged up. He can't even move. You watching him play in the game, and the dude can't cut on anything. And we're having to go with the backups. The backup wide receivers are having to focus on them. And Brom just figures out a way to win. Those teams figure out a way to win. That's the most impressive part to me, even more so than any other team that I've seen in Cardinal history. Down on the road, we won. On the road, in a place we've never won before.
All right. Hey, Richard, let me hear what you got. I gave Perry more than a minute, but go ahead.
Well, this is the first time he's taken every one of my points that I was going to say. The first thing, like I said, we've never beat Miami at Miami, and we've only beat Miami 3 times out of like 20, 25 times we played them. We've only beat them 3 times. And to beat them at Miami, a team that has more talent across the line, across the field than we do, to be able to get down there and run with them. I think what impressed me was the fact that they didn't get no sacks on Jack Plummer. And this is a quarterback that'll give you a freebie when he's scrambling. I was surprised that they didn't get one single sack on him. And the fact that we was able to get behind their line and sack them and get some tackles for loss, that's what impressed me. That, oh man, our line is able to hang with these boys, because I seriously thought that we were going to have some problems, that it was going to be a lot of play action. He was going to have to pull some trick plays out of his bag, because, the last time we saw Jeff Brom do a trick play was in the Boston College game. That was the last time he pulled it. And I'm surprised. And like Perry said, apparently they have so many weapons to choose from, so many offensive plays to use, that they don't have to go into that bag of tricks, which I thought that's what they're going to have to do.
Hey, so let's hear it, Dietrich. Did you watch the game, Dietrich? I know you.
I watched every snap.
No, he didn't watch the game. He's going to say he did, but he didn't.
I watched every snap. But there's a pattern. So because of the show, I've watched more Louisville football this year than I've ever watched. And I'm starting to see some philosophies that Louisville football, number one, they love to steal points right before the halftime. I've kind of seen this happen over and over, where they will steal a field goal or a touchdown right. You can go back and look game after game. They like to steal some points right before the half. It's kind of like in their philosophy. Also,
I'd say this: Brom's game management is on point, and I think that's what you mean. His game management is on point.
Yeah. They love to squeeze as much. A lot of teams will see 2 minutes, 3 minutes on the half, and just kind of run it out, see what we can get. But they're really intentional about making something happen right at the end of the half. Also, on late down short yardage, I noticed Brom goes long a lot on 3rd and short or 4th and short. They will rarely run for it. They will rarely quarterback sneak. They play action and they run long. I've seen that happen probably 4 or 5 times this season.
You don't went longer than a minute. Go ahead, PJ.
Wait a minute.
What you think about that?
You talked some of my time.
Hey, it don't matter. I'm the host. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say. So I watched. I had a busy day with church and everything. So I watched the condensed version, as far as like where it shows you that each play, caught the highlight of it. And from what I could tell, as you mentioned already, Brom, man, he's really good with his time management. I think I seen a play. I want to believe it was towards the end of the game when y'all hadn't needed a first down, and I think it was kind of a RPO to me. It was when it looked like it kind of like the T was like on a slide, or he was on a flat, or he came across it like on a zip, like he was coming in motion. It could have been ran up the middle. Clearly, Miami thought it was going to. I forget not Jordan. Who's the other running back y'all have? The other running back. They thought it was going to him. Yeah. He threw it out there. Guy was wide open. Key play. Like he made some really good. He has some really good plays. We know that too. I think we all know that Brom is a good coach.
Hey, so let me hear some hot takes. Oh, go ahead, Richard. Let me hear some hot takes for Louisville's future, because you guys are getting ready to go in. Don't matter what happens against Kentucky. We'll talk about that rivalry, but it doesn't matter what happens against Kentucky. You guys are going to face Florida State in December the 2nd.
I want our monologue, Lathan.
And
monologue on Louisville football.
And so I want to hear some hot takes. What do you guys have? We've heard in chat. Listen, for all of the Cats versus Cards listeners in chat, we've heard all types of theories on how they can get into the Final Four of the playoffs. We are in the discussion, is what I've read, what I've heard. I've heard that, ESPN talked about us for a minute and a half. We are in the discussion. So I want to hear what's our hot takes right here. Go ahead, Perry, because y'all know you got a strong opinion about this one. Go ahead.
We in the discussion. Somebody said, y'all are not in the discussion.
You're not.
Exactly.
You're not in the national championship discussion.
We are. Yes.
Well, there is a math.
What are y'all? What's the hot take? I need your hot take.
There is a doable math for Louisville to be in the one of the Final Four. There is a doable math.
All right.
It's doable. I mean, whether or not it's going to happen, but it is doable. And I can tell you, I could break the math down to you. I did it earlier. What would happen is it would take the winner, whoever loses that Michigan-Ohio State game, whoever loses the Washington-Oregon game, and whoever loses, if Alabama loses to Georgia in the championship, Those 3 games, plus if Louisville wins out, now of course they got to win out. That means they got to beat Florida State. Louisville would be number 4 because they would replace Florida State. That would put either Ohio, Michigan is one of the teams in the 4, Washington or Oregon, and I think one of those 2 teams, Oregon or whoever loses the Michigan, Ohio State, they would fall below Louisville because Louisville be a 1-loss team, winning all the way through and winning.
It feels like a whole lot of math. Feels like a whole lot of math going on. Go ahead.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. All Louisville has to do is win out. If they win out, which
all right, go ahead, Perry. Go ahead, Perry.
So, I think there's always going to be a Big Ten champion in there, and there's always going to be an SEC champion. The last 4 teams, people are forgetting that Oregon plays Oregon State, which is a rivalry game, and Oregon State is pretty decent. And Washington plays Washington State. Washington State was full of expectations coming into this year, just like UK, and they lost a lot of games just like UK. And so they're hoping to knock off an undefeated rival or, the conference leading rival, just like UK. And so if something happens in Washington State were to beat Washington, then Oregon beat Washington after both of them are coming off losses. And you'd see that those 2 teams drop away. So that leaves your last 2 teams, which would be Alabama and UK. And I mean, not UK.
No, you ain't getting
Take a point if you got to.
Yeah, I'm taking a point for that. He said UK.
Challenge flag.
Ain't no challenge flag, man. I get you. I get you.
But the fact of the matter is, it was said, y'all not in the discussion. And we in the discussion.
Hey guys, I think it would be. I gotta. I don't mean to cut the Louisville segment short, but right now Kentucky is down. This is breaking news. Right now, Kentucky is up by 2. Kentucky's up by 2 against St. Joseph, and it's about 2 minutes and 30 seconds left in the game. So it's a pretty tight game. I wanted to talk about the Reed Sheppard hype and Kentucky basketball. We can get back to Louisville. We definitely getting back to Louisville. But I wanted to talk about that Reed Sheppard hype. And I'm seeing that in the closing minutes of the game, Reed Sheppard isn't in the game. PJ, while we're on the podcast, have you been paying attention? Is he in foul trouble or what's going on?
No, he hasn't. I think he played pretty well in the first half. Second half, he hasn't been playing as well. And so I think you're seeing them kind of go with the hot hands. DJ's been playing pretty decent.
And that's what people are wanting to see is him. But
is DJ
trying to figure it out? Yeah, but I said it on Twitter. I said this game is gonna be a lot tougher than what y'all think this line is because they shoot a lot of threes. And if we know anything, mid-majors when they come into Rub,
they hit them.
They hit them threes, but we're doing good right now as far as trying to close this out.
So let me ask you. Let me ask you, Dietrich. Is that hype real about your boy Reed Sheppard?
I mean, Reed Sheppard's a good player. He's a good player, so I'm not going to take anything away from him being a good player. He's a great shooter. He's a good shooter from outside. Is he the best player on this team? Absolutely not. He's probably 5th. He's probably 5th best, if not 6th. And I say that because I haven't seen the big men. I haven't seen the big men. So the big men can push him further down. He is a good player. But I think he gets a little undue. The glee in the voice of the announcers whenever he does something good is just annoying. They're like, "Oh, Reed Sheppard pass, a wonderful pass."
Definitely.
Okay, they're all doing great things. Why are you so happy that Sheppard? Now we get it. His dad obviously, he's like UK royalty. He's born and raised to play for UK. We get it. We understand. He's born and raised in the state. We understand, but I think he gets a little too much shine for what his actual production is.
All right, Perry, what's your take? Is that Reed Sheppard, is that hype good? Do you wish that he was donning the red and black and white?
That's a bad question to ask. Now, the part about the hype, I think he is due some hype. I've seen him play. I watched the first half. I haven't really watch the second half. But he brings a lot of poise to the game. I watched him a little bit against Kansas and then the game before Kansas, and he seemed to come in and steady the ship, especially in the global games. I remember watching him a couple of times at the global games, and he just came in.
You gave him a point for watching the global games?
No, I meant to give him a point before. I meant to give him a point before.
But he seemed to come in and steady the ship. Defensively, he's just he sort of shocks people. He sort of surprises people. It's almost like, oh my goodness, he can actually move like that. He's not a stiff, Oh, he got this, getting in the lane, getting this pass. So, I mean, it's expected of Wagner to be up there. And the fifth best player, I don't know. I don't know UK's roster or your gameplay enough to say he's like that far down and the big men are going to push him far down. But I would say he's all around what I've seen, your second or third best guard on the team.
Hey, okay. So I know PJ, you got something to say about this. Go ahead. He said fifth. Dietrich said fifth best player. You said what? I seen the look on your face.
I wouldn't necessarily put him down there at fifth. I think Reed he's good. I think it's a little like
sneaky good.
Annoying. It's annoying, right? Like just because, and we know it kind of comes with the territory, but I think in past times with any kid that's from Kentucky plays, there's going to be an extra little pad to it, right? Yeah. You add on the fact that he's a legacy, double legacy, right? With his mom and his dad. You talk about defense and you forget, like, his mom is one of the leaders in steals, right? Like, natural instincts. He has good instincts, knows the game, all that good stuff. But there is some extra pad. But I think he's a good basketball player, man. I'm kind of shocked. I'm shocked more so at how shocked other people are. They're like, I've had people tell me he's not going to play. He's not going to have no impact. I'm like, man, no, he can play,
he's from
man.
Determines that, though. He's from the mountains.
Right, yes. He's from the mountains for sure. Made the McDonald's All-American game when he was on the circuit. He played, even when he played on the circuit, like he looked good. We played against Bronny and their team looked really good. He looked good.
I'm not even going to ask you, Richard, because it seems. Oh, go ahead, Richard. Go ahead, Richard.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
Hold on. Yeah. Let Rich talk. He got something profound to say. He put that finger up just like that.
No, I'm just
They're
down
to me, by one.
To me, I was just going to say that to me, he kind of reminds me his importance to the team is kind of like Cal Kirk was that year that Louisville beat number 1 Syracuse at Syracuse. Cal Kirk was coming off the bench, and he was a serviceable character. A serviceable player, excuse me. And, of course, the next year he was in the starting rotation. But that year, Kyle would come off the bench, give the team that boost and that lift, and provide those significant minutes, as they said on ESPN that year, significant minutes that the team needed. And, yes, he'd get his little 10, maybe 12 points, some significant rebounds and assists. But as far as if I had to start my team around him, no, he'd come off the bench. He's that nice sixth man off the bench. That's what I say. He's in that role.
I say, you talking about that spark plug off the bench.
He's the sixth man, but not fifth best.
Sixth man. He'd be the first. He would be the first. He would be your first. He would be your first off the bench player. If you didn't get one of your starters, he's your sixth man.
5 is not always the best.
Hey, man.
Let's get that real.
I gotta give that to you, Dietrich.
That's true.
But I say this. You talking about the spark plug off the bench. I think that we have 2 of those, honestly, and they do it in different ways. We have, because people talk about how Robert Dillinger is better than DJ Wagner. He should start. My thing about him is about this team anyway, and just about any team. It's good to have
Dillingham?
that. Yeah, Dillingham. I keep calling Dillinger. I'm sorry, Dillingham. The thing about just about any team, it's good to have a spark plug that come off the bench, And Dillingham provides that. Reed Shepherd provides that too. Dillingham, he's just a whole lot of energy. He's going to be everywhere. Reed Shepherd, I think that you can count on him to make the right play, to make the right pass. They said he's number 1 in the nation right now in shooting percentage as well. So, I think that's where they both kind of fit in. It's pretty nice right there. And Kentucky right now is up by 1 with 29.3 seconds left against St. Joseph at home. So it's a really tight game. Our college basketball correspondent, it looks like that he's really at looking at his screen, seeing what's going on. Can you give us what you're looking at, PJ?
I don't know. Hopefully, I'm a little bit. I think I might be a little bit behind, but they just caught a foul on Trey. Looked like a block to me, but also I'm watching on the smallest screen, so I can't see.
What's your
But
what's the time left that you have on your screen?
14.2.
yeah, they just. Oh yeah, he fouled him for sure. He's definitely.
Yeah, he
Good
fouled
foul.
him.
That was a good foul too. Good foul.
Yep.
14.2. I think it's a good foul. I don't think this guy's really that. Oh no, he's 83%. I thought this
I
was the
think
other
this
big
is
that was
one of
missing.
these years that proves the point that they shouldn't give people rankings until after the first 2 weeks of college basketball
I
play.
think that's a great point.
Because you can't tell who's good and who's bad. I mean, Kansas losing a charity game to Illinois, and Illinois we find out ain't nothing, is just garbage. And then didn't UConn just beat the brakes off of Texas? And
No, Texas is without their big man. He didn't play tonight. He's out with an injury.
Okay. All right. Well, that explains.
And then you
Oh, he put in a lot of. They were talking about him doing limited minutes against Louisville, but because that game was tighter than they expected, he actually had to play more.
So PJ, let's go ahead and lead into our next point real quick. We're talking about the starting lineup. Do you think that this thing needs to be adjusted or whatnot? You know, I just tipped my toe in there just a little bit. And we're getting ready to go in overtime while I say that. And Reed was out there on the court right there. But what do you think about that starting lineup? Do you think it needs to be adjusted? What's your point on that?
No, I think any good coach, right? I feel like if they know they have a guys who, you know, that are going to be play a huge role in your team, you have to give them a chance, right? And that's what I was trying to do. Even in this game, right? People complain start off the game. Oh, why isn't Reed and Rob starting? Why is Reed and Rob not starting, right? Second half of the game, they go on a run. DJ them going to run. Rob and Reed come in. The other team goes on a run, comes back. We was up by 9. They came back, so it's like you gotta let them find their way. You gotta let them settle in, because they're all playing new roles. The same thing I said about Louisville. Remember we was talking about Louisville. I said people get mad at KP, but I said at the same time they don't understand this is a whole new team. People are having to settle into roles. Here we are, 4 games in, even though they've lost their last 2 games, dude. They're looking better, man. This is what it is.
Hey, so in Dietrich, you called Reed Shepherd the 5th best player on the team. Of course, we know that your 5th best player might not always be like that 6th man, you know, or whatnot. It could be the 3rd best player or whatnot, just because of how everything's flows.
And just because the players that play his position are a little bit better, and I would put them in first. But
gotcha. So you think we got the right starting lineup then?
Yeah, I do. I think we got the right starting lineup. I mean, obviously, somebody's going to drop off once the big men really get to playing. I mean, get healthy. So somebody in that lineup is going to drop off, and it may end up being Thiero, which I would hate it to be because he does so much, so much effort and energy he puts in on the court. It's crazy. I'd hate to have him coming off the bench. I love to see him still start.
So okay, so all right, when the big men do come back, that's a good question. Who do you think gets those, loses minutes? Now, I say potential-wise, he shouldn't, and that's Edwards, but I feel like the way they're playing right now, he should, in favor of Adu, not Adu, is it? Yeah, in favor of Adu when the bigs come back. But
don't know your own team. You need to take some points away. You need to take some points away.
Shut up, Perry. No,
Dillinger.
I know it.
What's his name, dude?
But what's your take on it, PJ?
I'll say before I gotta go because I gotta go to a class too.
I feel you.
I will say this. I would think that Adu is where Adu kind of becomes the odd man out. Even right now, as Edwards is not being completely all that people kind of hyped him up to be or want him to be. His shot is falling. Like it's going in. His 3-point shot is going in. Adu is still a thing. So on the perimeter, as far as spacing, right, it helps out better when you got those bigs in the game. I think Adu it's him, right. I think Adu and Edwards are going to have to fight for that 3, and it's going to take Adu kind of making those shots to really increase that. But I think it's still not going to be like a total loss. I think the minute you see Burks play, you'll see those go down. and you'll see a dude still stay up there and play. He's gonna play. He's gonna play. But we even like in this game right now, like we need a big. We're
Yeah.
missing big. Like even against Kansas, against this game, it
In
shows
Kansas,
tremendous.
definitely.
They're like we
Yeah.
need a big man. It's just is what it is.
Why are they not playing the dude the
I'll give
European
that to you right
dude?
there. All right. With that said, guys, we know PJ, you have to run. Go ahead and jump off. Appreciate you, man. He'll be back next week, hopefully, guys. But let's go ahead and move on to Louisville basketball.
St.
While
Joe's
we're
getting robbed.
at it,
They
it's
give
tied
them a
right
shot.
now, 77-77, with 4
seconds. They
minutes
took
and 17 seconds
from-
left in the overtime. And I'm being talked over by Perry. But let's go ahead and switch our subjects real quick. Let's go ahead and talk about this Louisville basketball team. It looks like that they are much more improved, even though they lost the 2 games. What are y'all takes? Go ahead, give it to me, Richard. Go ahead, start us off, Rich.
Well, this is the part of the season, or this is the part of the process where I don't like, because if the team continues to play in this fashion, there's going to be a lot of stalling whether or not we need to switch gears with a new coach or give him another year. It looks like he's improving, but I know we had a couple of close games last year and the wheels still fell off. So, I mean, we played Texas and Indiana.
So you don't agree that you guys are getting better? Or you saying you don't know?
For me, it's too early to say, but I kind of, once again, I got frustrated against the Indiana game because the same things I saw against the Texas game, I thought he would have cleaned up or they would have learned their lesson from. And the thing I see, which is plaguing me more than anything else, and I'll say this real quick and move on, is the fact that these players are basketball retarded. I've never seen the stupidest players playing this game. I mean, stuff that simple kids would do.
Go ahead, Perry. Let me see. Let me hear your take on this on what KP's doing on that basketball team. With that basketball
5
team.
seconds. They had 2 seconds left, and they took those 2 seconds away from St. Joe's.
Okay, guys.
Guy got the rebound, called the timeout, and they took it. Now, in regards to Louisville, corrupt arena. But in regards to Louisville basketball, I agree with a lot of what Richie's saying. I would say that the players have gotten better. The personnel has gotten better. It's still the same. You look and you see guys are not really as active as they need to be active on the offensive end. You always wonder, how is it that teams can spread the ball out against us, spread the court out, create a lot of spacing, and then just drive whenever they want to, but we can't do that. And so a lot of the players are a lot better. This year we got better guys that are trying to do what they need to do. They're trying to do their best. But then you have like watching Sky, and the difference between Sky and Tyler Johnson is like day and night. Like Sky Clark is like, he's like a broken Kyrie Irving type player. He's not really trying to make the dudes around him better. He's trying to get his own, and it's really disturbing to see. Because if he goes on a run like he did yesterday, then he's going to try to do it today.
Dietrich, now we know that we got 2 guys that these faces need to be right beside Daniel Cameron's on the screen. So let's not listen to them. What do you think is happening?
Now you're trying to be funny.
What do you think is happening over here with Louisville basketball, man? What do you think is happening over here with Louisville basketball?
Much improved. KP, it looks like he is getting some traction with the players. Watching Texas, the game against Texas, and the bit of the game I saw against Indiana, Louisville's playing. He's doing a lot of isolation. He's doing a lot of dribble drive stuff, which I like. And Sky Clark can do a lot of that. Once the players, I think it's a gel issue. I think once the players realize it's not just Sky Clark is trying to get his, is the other players have to put themselves in position to score either on the rebound or be ready for a dish from Sky Clark when he's making these dribble drives. And I think that chemistry is what needs to improve. Now, the basketball IQ, I don't know what I don't know what class some of these players are. So I don't know if he's got a lot of freshmen. I don't know if they're sophomores. I have not looked into their class. So that may play into their basketball IQ. When we look at Kentucky, to contrast Kentucky, some of these players went to prom this spring.
Yeah.
So
some
when
of
you're
them.
dealing with
I gotta
young
add a
players,
rebuttal.
Go ahead.
yeah.
Go ahead, Perry. I know you were.
I didn't get to finish what I was saying about Sky Clark. The game dramatically changed when he sat down and Tyler Johnson came in the game. Tyler Johnson is like when he came in the game went from ISOs, everybody trying to do their own ISO, to Tyler Johnson driving and kicking. Tyler Johnson getting past his man, driving and kicking to draw dunks and fouls.
Right.
And so it's like a college game broke out from a college team trying to play professional NBA basketball and didn't have the ability to play professional NBA basketball. So I don't know the point of Sky Clark. He's got some talent. He does have some talent, but his game is mostly ISO. He's not looking to drive and make his other guys better. Him and White are just two guys off to the side doing their own thing. Why are you giving the Cats so many points?
Oh, my bad. I thought I was giving it to you guys. I'm sorry.
Richie, make a note.
All right.
He didn't want us to say nothing, but here we go.
Nah, I missed
Challenge
it.
flag is
I missed
thrown
it.
again. Here we go.
I missed it. Yeah, I missed it. But yeah, I give that to you.
I'm trying to figure out why you have a problem with the leading scorer in this game creating action off the ball. On the ball, dribbling and collecting fouls. I'm trying to figure out what do you want from a point guard except for dishing and getting other people involved. And like I said, that missing part may be the other players learning how to play off of him. That's it.
How did they know how to play off of Johnson but not off of him?
Because Johnson isn't as dynamic of a player. When you have a speed, a real put his head down, drive to the. Well, I don't think he can drive as good as Clark. I don't.
I'll tell you this. I didn't watch the game. I tuned in the last part. And the last part, I seen him drive in very nicely, and he gave off a dish. Was it JJ Trainer or whatever that missed that layup, but he got fouled? And I was just like, and they kept talking about him. I'm like, oh, well, he might be the guard to be. Cause I do know that Sky Clark is. I'm glad he's not at Kentucky. I'll just say that
game you watch. I think you're getting their names mixed up, like Dietrich. I think you're getting their names mixed up. I think you think Clark is Johnson and Johnson is Clark because
Clark has the hair.
Oh well, you're not getting. I think maybe you're watching something in Bizarre World or an alternate reality basketball.
When I watched the game against Texas. He was collecting fouls like a bill collector. He was getting in the chest of the forwards and those crash. And I liked what he did in that game. I didn't think he was going for his and not creating. That's just what I saw.
All right,
Richard?
Hey guys, go ahead, Rich. What, tell me your thoughts on this Louisville basketball team.
Well, once again, I got to reiterate: basketball IQ is missing. We do have some sophomores and juniors on the team that should be helping be the coach on the court, which I don't understand why this is missing. I mean, some simple stuff like the Texas game, for example. You had an inbound, a couple seconds left on the clock, and nobody's there to inbound the ball. And the point guard should have been there. You should be aware that, hey, if we're going to do this, we need to advance down the court quickly so that we can get the winning bucket or be able to respond and get the shot off. Nobody's thinking this. And this is, this is stuff that any
awareness.
Intramural, any team should be able to be aware of. And stuff like that, how to pass. Hey, I'm trying to pass the ball into the big man, and I know that they're doubling him. It's stupid of me to try to lob it, knowing good and well that he's got to fight to try to bring it down, and it's a greater opportunity for them to steal the pass. And then going up and down the court in transition. When they steal the pass, why come half the team is still back there in the backcourt? See what I'm saying? Instead of coming down here to get on defense. Just awareness, IQ. That's the thing I'm worried about.
Yeah, I agree with you on that because – well, I'll say this because I said this in the chat and Perry wanted me to hush and not say it. But I think Dietrich was right on what KP needs to concentrate with this team is having that superior fitness physically and just effort. because we saw the first game what they could do was just a lot more effort than what they had last year. And I believe you saw it again the second game as well. Is with effort. If you coach that and get them to have better basketball IQ, I mean, in whatever X's and O's you are teaching, I mean, I think that you'll be fine. But it's pretty much the Rick Pitino playbook on how I think he did the same thing at Louisville as he did at Kentucky. Is not the system, but I'm talking about the effort behind it. You know,
he wanted effort, but he wasn't going to let your guard sit there and take highly contested 3-pointers with the game on the line, and he wasn't going to let players literally reverse the momentum like we just saw Clark do.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's effort.
Johnson, and when Johnson sat down, we were up by 5-6 points, and he let Clark try to take over, and Woodson implemented his own. And we're looking over at the bench, and all of a sudden, none of the coaches on the bench who've all been on staffs knew how to attack a zone. And Clark just decided to start hauling up threes and taking contested shots. And next thing you know, it's 30 seconds left in the game. We down by 10.
I think that also, and I forgot to get your point though, but I think that also goes back to what I've been saying is he needs to change up his coaching staff. He needs somebody. I've said before that he needs to have somebody that's been there, done that when it comes to being a head coach. But he also needs somebody that
I thought that's what Danny Manning was supposed to be.
Danny Manning, come on. He didn't last long at Wake Forest.
No, man. He trying to get us points taken. Danny Manning. They paid that man to go away.
But wait a minute. You said somebody who had some experience being a head coach. Danny Manning had more experience, just as much experience now as KP. They both had a year.
Yeah, I mean, but you have to experience some kind of success. Danny Manning, he's a big man
Made
coach.
the NCAA tournament once in 7 years.
Yeah,
and he won 2 winning records at Wake Forest. He took them backwards.
Yeah, he a big man coach. I can't say that he's that person. I mean, because you even had Penny Hardaway down there in Memphis. What did he do? He went down and hired Larry Brown. Said, "Hey, help me out. If not for just that initial part of it, and then I'll take over." So I mean, I think KP should have did the same thing, and he's got to switch up that coaching staff. But I do think he's on the right point. I think he's on going in the right direction now.
Your
roster,
is no longer on fire.
Yeah. The roster still needs to be fixed. Go ahead.
It's still on fire. It's just not an inferno. It's now down to a controllable fire. No, the house is still on fire. The house is still on fire.
Y'all still get so okay. So here's the question: Are you guys jumping off the boat if it's on fire?
What did I say at the beginning of the year? He's got to the UK game to convince us that he gets another year. Now, these 2 games, I had clocked in the drop. But that game, who did we lose to? Was it School of the Blind? Who was the school?
Chattanooga.
School of the Blind.
Yeah. That Chattanooga game, they beat the brakes off of us at home, and that shouldn't have happened. So, again, he's got to the UK game to prove to me that he deserves another season. And right now, it's possible. Like you said, he's got to get these eight wins in. He's got 2. Let's see what we can do from here into the UK game.
See what we can do.
He's head and shoulders better than he was last year. This is a competitive team that can win games. And
I think he's at the same spot he was last year.
They kept saying it over and over again.
I'm actually more confident that he will get more. I now think he will get more wins in the ACC than I began the year thinking. I thought he was going to lose just about every game in the ACC. But now looking at how they competed, he might go, eke one out against Wake Forest and Syracuse and so on. And even Duke looks beatable right now. So I think he's going to fare better. I was jokingly saying he's going to win 8 games. He might hit that 12-game mark, 13-game mark, 14-game mark.
Yeah.
If he can get these guys buying in and giving.
I'll tell you, after I seen him yesterday, I said, hey, he's got 15 games in him. That's what I was thinking. So I'm not going to give y'all 20 games, but I think he's got 15 games in him. Definitely. So he's improving. I think it's enough to buy him another year. I think if it turned out to be another 4-win season, yeah, definitely I would be with the two Louisville fans. But it looks like if he can keep this going, he's going to be there next year. And I think he still has some correction to do with that roster. Dennis Evans, he needs some development, but he shouldn't be the first big man off that bench. He needs to be the second big man.
tournament. The ACC tournament. Do y'all drop off the bottom 4 players in the league for the ACC tournament, the bottom 6?
I thought it was
I'm
the
trying to
bottom
remember.
4. I thought it was the bottom 4 teams. I think it's the bottom 4.
Because I'm trying to see how likely it is that he makes the ACC tournament.
Hey guys, all right. So before we cut this podcast off, we got to talk about the elephant in the room. We got to have our keys to victory. We got to have our whatever our trash talking is going to be for it. And right now, I'm going to be at the game. Richard's going to be at the game. We're going to be in the stands. I'm going to have my UK blue on. Richard's going to have his Louisville red on. I'm going to say on Kentucky and know that we're going to win. Richard's going to do the same thing for Louisville. But what do you guys say? Well, give me a score prediction. Give me keys to the game. What you guys think that's going to happen? Go ahead, Dietrich. We're talking about football.
Louisville versus
I sold candy bars in the parking lot of Commonwealth Stadium as a kid with my blue jersey on for my football team.
Yeah, because y'all need the money.
I cannot say that Kentucky's going to lose that game. We going to beat Louisville.
I got to give you a point for that. Because if you said Kentucky's going to lose, I'm be like, what kind of fan are you?
Oh, what?
So, give me a score. Give me a score.
Give me a score. 21-17 Cats.
21-17 Cats. All right. I like it. What's the keys to the game?
Keys to the game are hold Plummer and his scrambles. We're not going to stop the secondary. They're going to get their yards. We're not going to stop the running back Jordan or the other one. They're going to get their yards. The magic is going to be, can we hold Plummer from getting them out of their third downs, third and longs? Can we keep Plummer from scrambling and hurting us?
Corey Bruce, he wants to get on the podcast. He wants to go right at Dietrich.
You can fill in for me, Corey. I'll let you fill in for me.
He said
31-13.
31-13. All right. So I got you right there. Perry. No. Yeah, go ahead, Perry.
I'm so grateful for Dietrich. You know, if ever there was a false prophet, you know, somebody who prophesies and the opposite happens.
Faith.
He has done that every game, every instance, every game this year. Y'all not gonna beat Notre Dame. Y'all not gonna
beat Miami. Y'all not gonna beat
Miami. Y'all not gonna win 10 wins. They are not talking about you all in the college football every time he is predicted. Thank you, Dietrich.
So hold on. So all right. So are you guys? What's your score prediction? What's the keys?
I mean, I don't like to get into predictions. But I'll tell you the keys. The keys would be our ability to basically just stop UK up front on both sides of the ball. If you can't stop UK up front on both sides of the ball, then you're in trouble. We're going to see how the SEC physicality can possibly wear away along the lines. I think our DBs are bigger and more physical, but they're not as fast. And so I'm looking to see what goes on in the trenches. I'm not really worried about Jake Plummer. I don't think he's going to do much. I mean, this is going to be he did what he did against Miami because that was Shannon Dawson. But I don't know what he's going to do. Oh, not Shannon Dawson, sorry. But that was their defense. That's the most talented team on paper, on the field that we played all year. We played them down there. So seeing us turn out okay against them, and then we're playing UK at home, I feel like we should win the game, based on that. But one of us is going to be more desperate than the other.
What was your record? I mean, what's the points?
What's the points?
Yeah.
I want to say 24-21. Somebody. I'll just say 24-21. But
24.
really, what's really in my shundo, what's really dropped in my shundo was 30, 31, 38 to 20.
This is the churchiest sports podcast ever.
That dropped in my shundo.
Right. All right, go ahead, Rich. Let me hear what you got.
Okay, my keys to the game. I think if UK exposes our secondary, it's going to be a long game. I think that's the weakest point of our team is our secondary. We can man up on the line if we can hold y'all on the line, but if they figure out the secondary, they can light us up.
Gotcha.
That's been proven time and time again with Virginia, with North Carolina State. So I think if y'all can expose our secondary, but on the flip side, if we can put pressure on your quarterback, y'all in trouble. And then on the offensive side, like I said, if you all, I don't know what we're going to do against, what's his name? Big Devin Walker. Is that his name? Devin, whatever, Big Walker.
Zero.
If we can hold him and give our quarterback some protection, you all are going to be in a world of hurt. But I think the big key for you all is if you all can get a chance to expose our secondary. If y'all can hold the line and keep the pressure off your quarterback, you all can, this will be the game where all of a sudden your receivers turn out to be NFL caliber receivers. Y'all he's gonna turn into Brady back there.
It might happen. It might happen.
This is a rivalry game. You gave them 2 points for the same point.
No, he said he had a couple different things. He had a couple different things.
This is the rivalry game. You see what happened with Miami and Florida State. That game came down to the last few minutes of the fourth quarter. So, like I said, it came down to the fourth quarter. This is a rivalry game, so anything could happen. You all could come in there with your chest puffed out. But like I said, it's going to come down to Big Walker on defense. If we can hold him, and if you all can keep your quarterback if y'all can protect your quarterback, because like I said, our secondary is probably the weakest part of the team, consistently the weakest part of the team. Everything else, y'all not going to be able to stop our run. We might not be able to stop Davis, but like I said, at the end of the day, we got the plays, we got the receivers that we can probably expose y'all also in the secondary. But the thing is, can we hold back your defensive line? Because I think he's a big boy, he's a big hoss, and he can get back there. And I think that's what the keys are to me. The score, I think it's going to be 28-14.
28-14. So that's interesting
UK,
because
28-14 UK.
That's what it sounds like. 28-14 Kentucky.
I got to say Louisville.
No, it's interesting because Dietrich, yours was 21-17. Then Perry comes in 24-21, and then you just came in
38-20. That's what's in my spirit. 38-20. Somebody's going to win 38-20.
That's what Perry does. He says both, so whatever happens, he can say he calls.
Yeah, because on this screen capture right here, it says 24-21 is what you said. So now he's changed it. All right, and Richard, yours was, you said 28-17? What'd you say, Rich?
28-14.
28-14. So you got the most decisive win here. I'm surprised by that.
I gotta say, there's one more key. There's one more key.
What's the other key?
To not overuse the blitz against Plummer. He is very good at throwing against a blitz, throwing off, finding the blitzer and throwing into the area that they vacate. I'm
gonna give you a point for that because I'm impressed that you even brought that up. I don't even know if it's true or not, but
I don't think it's true. But
it depends because I don't think coming off the blitz against Virginia. He threw a pick coming off the blitz against North Carolina State. He was getting lit up, and he threw a couple of picks that game. So it just depends. Depends on what mind frame he's in.
They changed him all over the field.
I'll say this though. We will know if Kentucky is going to be competitive in this game. We'll know if it's going to be a close game by the first quarter. If we come out of that first quarter and we've shown no life, I think it's going to be a blowout. If we come out of that first quarter,
if we come out fighting, y'all gonna come out.
It's not going to be a blowout.
I don't know.
I guarantee.
See, it's a rivalry game, so it's a rivalry game, so you throw some things out. But I'm just
You have to speak with your heart, not your head, Will.
That's,
not
I mean,
gonna
it's
be a
true,
rivalry
but I
game.
am speaking with my heart because
It's not gonna be a
I
blowout.
question this team's fight in a lot of time, in a lot of games. I question their fight. Now, you can have a tale of two halves, a tale of two quarters, or whatnot like that. But even when they started out bad against Tennessee, you kind of seen something there. You know, now once we start doing crazy stuff, then it kind of picked up, but we was already behind the 8 ball because we was going for it on the 4th down when we were on the 35-yard line, and if we didn't get that, it was getting ready to be game early. You know, I'm just saying if we do that against Louisville, they're going to capitalize, and our minds is going to be, oh, I'm getting ready to transfer, or oh, I'm getting ready to go to the league next year anyway, or it's going to be everywhere except for on the game, because this is not a typical Mark Stoops team that plays with pride. I just don't see it.
Okay.
Maybe they are, but I don't see it. Go ahead, Rich.
Okay, well, first off, Louisville's been behind at the half in 3 tough games. All those games were on the road when we were behind at the half. We were behind at Georgia Tech, we were behind at North Carolina State, and we were behind in Miami. And those halftime adjustments that Braun made coming out of the half, that's what I'm saying. It's not going to be a blowout. Now,
I'm not talking about Louisville.
It could be. I'm saying you saying it's going to be a blowout if Kentucky, you said blowout if Kentucky came in there, it was close at the half or close after the first quarter, it might be a blowout. I don't think it's going to be a blowout either way.
Okay.
Either way, unless Kentucky just gives up the ghost like they did against Alabama.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Saw y'all get y'all spirit snatched when Alabama put 21 on y'all in the first 10 minutes of the first quarter.
But
I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be a blowout in any sense of the matter on any side of the ball. I would be surprised. I would be the first one to eat crow if that happens.
No, I'll give it to you. I'll be surprised, but I'm just saying that if we come out the wrong way and we don't see any life of anything that first quarter, it's going to be a blowout. Not saying that we blowing y'all out. We going to get blowed out because our minds is going to be everywhere else. But if we come, even if y'all get up early, if we see signs of life of we're doing something, then I see, okay, then there's something's going to happen here. I got to see us play with some pride. I got to see us play with some pride.
The only 2 teams we blew out was Murray State and Boston College. Mm-hmm. Now, do you think UK is anywhere in that? Could anything like that happen to UK being either Murray State or Boston College?
No, but I'll tell you, we
off of Boston College, and we
regret. It was not a blowout. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, no, we're not anywhere near that. But we have regressed. I can't even say it now. We've regressed this season, because the team that we were against Florida and did what we did, that wasn't a fluke. That wasn't us playing above our talents. But the team that you see right now, it's not a talent. It is a talent issue when you playing against your Georgias and your Alabamas to be in that to the end. That's a talent issue. But when it comes to Tennessee, when it comes to South Carolina, when it comes to Missouri, it's not really a talent issue. It's a mental issue. Now, the one game that they did fight and scrap was Tennessee, but that was because we actually had a good
scrap against Missouri.
We did, but we had a lot of dumb penalties that killed it for us while we was fighting and scrapping.
But y'all had a lot of fight in that game, especially when they popped you in the mouth on that fake field goal.
And,
y'all
and
still
then
had a
we
lot
made
of fight in that game.
And then we made dumb penalties that just killed us in that game against Tennessee. It was our best showing. But the reason why it was our best showing is because Tennessee said, you know what, we're going to stop the run despite Devin Leary actually having a great game passing, and we're going to put 8 men in the box. So if you put 8 men in the box, guess who's out of the box? You got 3 men out of the box. Yeah. Well, you're going to have open guys. So that was the one gimme. And so, but after the break, after the bye week, we changed up our offense to fit Devin Leary, to fit the receivers and everything. And it's not as fun looking, not as dynamic as Liam Cole wanted to be. But I know it's because He's limited by the personnel and things, and our minds is just not there. And we have regressed because of that. We're not the same team as we were against Florida. We don't run a lot of the same plays. Stuff that you've seen before the mid-break, I mean, you don't see it now. So we're not those teams that you just said, but mentally we're not there. So I don't think it's going to happen, but it's a possibility. Go ahead.
Hey, if we control time of possession and keep the Braun brothers offensive attack off of off the field, we'll have a better shot of doing what we need to do. Which means we got to run the ball. Which means our receivers got to catch, and Leary's got to actually hit wide open receivers just standing there and don't throw it over their head. If we get efficient and have chunk, 9+ play drives where we hold the ball for a long time and actually either put a field goal or a touchdown on, we win the time of possession, we'll win the game.
All right. So, guys, I'm going ahead and give the last 2 minutes of this podcast to Louisville, as Louisville is the winners again of this podcast. I see your smile on your face.
They've been working him all week about these points, y'all.
Yeah, I know. They've been working me all week. They won this because they paid the ref off during the week. No, I'm just playing. But Louisville, y'all won this last two.
That's all that matters.
The check was good. I'm going to leave it up to you guys. The last thing that I'm going to say is, because I never gave to my keys to the game, and I'm going to just make it very simple for you guys. We got one key to the game. I think the outcome of who wins and who loses this game all resides on the Kentucky sidelines. Yes, I'm a Kentucky fan. But I'm not a Kentucky homer, and I'm telling you, this is 100% truth. If Kentucky comes out with their hair on fire and their discipline, they win. Point blank, period. I think it's going to be a close game. Whoever gave the 24-21, I think it'll be like that. I don't think it's going to be a lopsided victory at all. But if Kentucky comes out, plays with their hair on fire in their discipline, they win, point blank, period. If they don't, or if they have lapses and leave that window open for Louisville, Louisville will take it. I got a question. Point blank, period.
You cannot play with their hair out on fire when they played Akron and when they played EKU. They were just chilling.
Take a point. Take a point.
Yeah, you do. You do need to take. Good and well they did.
The game is over. You can't take a point. The game is over.
Yeah, the game is over. I'm not taking any point.
We're up on there talking about our trophy win. The game is over. You can't deduct points.
Perry, I think the game to point to when you look at Kentucky sailing on how they played, the best they played this season is going to be that Florida game. When they played against Akron, when they play against EKU, when they play against Vandy and stuff, no.
But let me talk about that point right there.
But go ahead.
You say your best game is the Florida game, but why are you all keep dying on that mountain? Because Florida is nothing this year. Florida is straight trash this year. So for you to say, "Oh, we played our best game," you might as well say our best game was against Akron and EKU.
Well, let me
badly they played, and you all played them at UK. So you can't really say that your best game is the Florida game, and if we play like the best game of Florida game, we're going to beat y'all. We was playing with our hair on fire. No, I think y'all's best game was that Missouri game, because even though they popped you in the mouth, y'all still made a game of it. Now, everything else after that was straight trash against Georgia, against Alabama, against Tennessee. I think your best game was the Missouri game. And if you play like that, it's going to be a close game. It'll be a toss-up who's going to win that game.
I'll take that because
your penalties kept you at that game. But the game was close, and y'all still could have won that game. See what I'm saying? So to say that the Florida game, our Florida game, that game was – Florida is straight trash.
I mean, it is for real.
Like we play Florida, we'll win. That's what you're saying.
That's straight trash.
No, I'm not. No. No, I'm not saying that because you got to. Kentucky had three. To me, they had three really good games, and so Richard, you may bring up a valid point when you say Missouri, but I think we had a really good game against Tennessee as well. We had a really good game against Florida. The reason why I say Florida was our best game is because that was our best defensive game, like balance between defense and offense. But if you say straight offensive game, then it's either going to be Missouri or Tennessee. It's going to be either Missouri or Tennessee.
Florida,
when you say
Florida
that's your
just
best
took Missouri to the wire this weekend. Really could have won the game. Took the number 10 team in the conversation, right? Since everybody that's ranked is in the national championship conversation now.
To the wire.
So since Missouri is in the national championship conversation as much as Louisville is, they took them to the wire. But Florida's trash.
Hey,
no, wait a minute.
Hold
Florida is trash. Look at them; they're not bowl eligible. The teams that they normally beat. I think South Carolina. Did they lose to South Carolina? I can't remember if they beat South Carolina or lost to South Carolina. But whatever. Come on now. This is not the same Florida that you could count on as, hey, this is a quality win. So no. I don't care what you say. Yeah, this is.
Let me rephrase what I said. Let me rephrase what I said because it I don't know what it calls. If Kentucky brings forth the same effort and plays to a similar level as they did against Florida, as they did against Missouri, as they did against Tennessee, they'll come out victorious in this game. It'll be a close game.
No, it'll be a close game. It'll be a good game. It'll come down to the final possession. I don't say y'all gonna win because, like I said, we played talented lines like you all, like Miami. We played Notre Dame. And we handled Notre Dame. And remember, we already have a 3-point advantage because we're playing at Louisvile. So I'm saying we're not playing at Commonwealth. We're playing at Louisville. So
that's not even what it's called anymore.
Advantage right there.
Get our stadium's name right. It's Kroger Field. All right, guys. They don't got a Cats versus Cards, guys. They do not want these last 2 minutes of this.
We'll see y'all at Papa Ninja
you do
John
it too
Stadium.
If you want, or I'll do it. You tell me. You do it or I'll do it.
Go ahead. Because
all right, you guys.
Hey, y'all, we'll just see. Me and Lakin will be sitting in the stands, and one of us is gonna come home happy. The other one's gonna come home quiet and silent, and might not even show up. So on the podcast.
But if we win,
it started.
If we win, just know, championship contender in the ACC is just a normal day walk in the park in the SEC. Y'all's top against what y'all.
No, we can't do that. No, stop. No. I've muted both of them because that's a bomb that he just threw, and we don't have time for that bomb. He knows what he's doing. So we're gonna start with y'all 2 minutes. You had 36 seconds. Go ahead, Perry. You have 2 minutes at the end.
Listen. It's going to be interesting this week. Louisville fans, my fellow Louisville fans, keep you cool. Keep you cool. We almost to the promised land. We're almost to the promised land. The ACC title game.
He's a motivational speaker, y'all, and he's very calm at that too. He's like trying to soothe you out of sleep.
Listen.
All right, so go ahead, Richard. I'm keeping Dietrich muted right now. Don't even address him. Go ahead, Richard.
Well, hopefully we'll get some good footage at the game tomorrow. Get the game Saturday. This is a noon kickoff, so it's going to be early. The weather looks like it's going to be sunny. I just hope it's going to be warm. I'm hoping the weather stays warm. It's supposed to be 60, about 3, so I don't know what's going to be a noontime kickoff. But hopefully, if it's a good weather game, it's going to be packed because it's one of the only 2 games that have sold out this year at L&N. So it's going to be loud. It's going to be crazy. And whoever wins, it's going to be a good game, I hope. I'm hoping for a good game. Of course, I'll take a blowout in favor of Louisville over Kentucky, but I hope it's a good game. And this, all it does is it just elevates the rivalry and makes this a better game next year. That's all this is. So I'm glad that finally we have a team that we can bring on the field that can give y'all some competition, and hopefully this will keep making this rivalry hopefully we'll keep getting better. Both squads getting better, and hopefully one day we'll be in that same consideration as the Apple Cup, the Iron Bowl, Ohio State, Michigan. Hopefully we'll be in those same discussions when it comes to rivalry games instead of a footnote.
Yep.
Right, I'm out.
And I love those last 2 minutes that you gave. But let me, Aaron, I'm glad that you reminded me of that. This is something this weekend. If you guys, Cavs versus Cards listeners, if you guys are still on, this weekend is one of those weekends that I love. It's basically Louisville versus Lexington for college and high school. What do we have going on? We have Frederick Douglass High School at Trinity that's going on. We have Bryan Station at Ballard that's going on. Amo, I know you that coach over there. Go ahead. This is the only time I'm gonna say something good about Ballard. But other than that, Lexington all the way. Bryan Station with Frederick Douglass at Trinity.
Are you sure that's at Trinity?
Well, this is what that Jason Frakes on Twitter says it's at Trinity. Then we have
check it because y'all was trying to trick us last week. The higher seed hosts the game. So, and I thought at this particular point, I thought Frederick Douglass would be the higher seed. Since they already beat Trinity this year and they just beat the number 1 team, I thought they would be the higher seed. So it would be Frederick Douglass hosting if that's the case.
Well, we'll double check it because that happens on Friday. I might see if I can get there for that if it's here in Lexington. So you got Frederick Douglass at Trinity. You got Bryan Station at Ballard. You got Lexington Catholic at Christian Academy that's going on. And then Saturday is the nightcap, is the finality of it all, UK versus Louisville. So that's going to be great.
No, it's Saturday afternoon, not Saturday night. Saturday afternoon.
I said Saturday.
Right,
I said Saturday. I said nightcap.
You said nightcap.
Oh, I said I meant the finality. All right, so we got a lot of people that's correcting us. That means that we need to go ahead into this.
I thought it was at night.
Look, Deidre said, "Come on, get this work." What'd you say? All Lexington teams at Louisville teams because of the RPIs.
That's what I would say.
Got you
earlier. Yeah.
Got you. All right, that's what's up. That's what's up. Hey, I got all Lexington teams. I got all Frederick Douglass. I got Bryan Station because I don't like Louisville's high schools for real.
They did. Bryan Station did beat Ballard earlier in the year, and
they did.
Yeah, they beat Ballard, and then Frederick Douglass beat Trinity at Trinity.
Aaron's got.
What me and Philip were debating.
But see, you're gonna realize it's hard to beat the same team twice, especially Jefferson County team.
Aaron's got two twins that's on the Bryan Station team. So big ups to them. Good luck to you guys on Friday. I wish that was here in Lexington because one of these I'll go. Oh, he's saying 38-31. Is this the Bryan Station versus Ballard, or is this Kentucky versus Louisville, Aaron? What score are you predicting? 38-31 versus what game is this?
I think he's predicting Louisville.
He just gave me the thumbs up. I don't know what that means. All right, we're going to have to end this show, guys. I appreciate everybody that's listening, everybody that's tuned in on this week's Cavs versus Cards. You guys have been great. I hope the show has been great. Can continue to send me feedback, see how you guys like this. I know we changed the format. I think people said that they like it much better. Let us know some more. We can incorporate a little bit of college, not college, of high school, just like we did just that last segment, but our show really doesn't flow with it too much, but we're trying. Aaron says that's Bryan Station versus Ballard. That's what he's saying, 38-31. So he's got Station winning it by 7. But tune in next week. We'll be here again Monday at 8 o'clock. Tune in live. Be a part of the discussion. We love the live comments back. All right. So until then.